When I asked my Pathfinder group what was something that they wanted more of in our next campaign, it was pretty clear that they wanted puzzles. Lots of puzzles. And not just puzzles in-game, they wanted actual physical puzzles that they can hold, touch. One thing that I found is when you go above and beyond, it can be wonderful to see your players' reactions.
Final battle of the campaign, here's the Tarrasque. And here's the inside of the Tarrasque.
So, let's see what I came up with. So, a lot of these puzzles are going to be 3D printed. 3D printing is a pretty easy way. There's lots of files online on Thingiverse and printables, but if you do not have a 3D printer, don't worry. I'm going to show you some much simpler puzzles that you can make just out of paper as well. So this is a file I found, I think, on Thingiverse. They are little maze puzzles. So there's like a maze in here and you have to spin it to try to get it out and whatnot. So let's see if I can solve it. So there we have it. As you can see, there's actually a second little secret compartment inside the first one. And once you get it open, you can fit anything you want in here. Usually, a little rolled up piece of paper. I had a little cipher where they could use to decipher a secret code that was left for them. And they loved that. One thing that was great about this particular puzzle is that multiple people can kind of work on it. One person can take out this piece, and then a second person can take out this piece, and then they can work together to use the cipher to decode the letter. This is one that I actually have not used in a game yet, but it's pretty simple. I originally found this one on Survivor, but I know it's a pretty famous puzzle as well. So it's pretty simple. You have to get all of these pieces onto this right peg, but you can only move one piece at a time, and you can't put a larger piece on top of a smaller piece like that. So this would be more of like a smaller scale version of something that's much larger in like a dungeon or something. To describe the rules, you can say these discs are far too heavy to lift more than just one at a time. And if you place a larger disc on top of a smaller disc, they're fragile enough where that disc will break. Let's see how I will fare solving this puzzle. So yeah, fun little puzzle. I haven't given it to my players yet, so we will see what their reactions are in the future. Next puzzle. This was one that I actually have not yet completed yet, but the idea I think is pretty sound. So I printed out these little pyramid pieces, and one of them is in here, and they all kind of connect together. The idea is that I'm gonna put little bits of text on the seams so that in order to get the full secret message, you'll have to stack all the pieces on top of one another. And then they'll find each of these pieces in other, like various little secret containers or something. This first one that I have kind of figured out, but you have to get the triangle out of the square hole. Fun little puzzle, little brain teaser. I'm gonna show you the solution here, so if you don't wanna see it, click away. You've gotta shape it like a little square like that. Boop. Pretty cool little puzzle. So yeah, like I said, that one's not complete yet, but I think it'll be pretty cool when I get to show it to the players. I promised I would show you some simpler paper puzzles. Here they are. This is the first one. This is just a little envelope that I put the puzzle into. Just Googled origami envelope and folded it. Put a little wax seal sticker on the front from a board game called Gloomhaven. Highly recommend. Inside is a bunch of these little triangle pieces of paper. This is a simple, like a classic puzzle. You have to fit all the pieces together to form a square. There we go, and you see there's one piece left over to throw them off a little bit. This piece actually will be used in this other puzzle a little bit later on, so that's kind of a puzzle as well. They have to remember that they had this piece, and then they have to connect it. That it looks like it could fit on this piece later, so that's fun as well. And then there's writing on the back of this as well, which continues the message, so that makes it a little bit more difficult, And then this puzzle, you have to fold it in the correct sequence in order to reveal the secret hidden message. So let's see how we do ourselves. So this is the point where they'd be like, oh, well, that's a weird blank spot, but it seems like we're close. They would have to remember this piece, put it in like so to reveal secret message. But then on top of that, this message doesn't really give them much. And they'll notice that there's more writing on the back. So if they follow these other two folds, which these two folds actually took them a little while to figure out that they had to use those, to fold it like this, then you use this piece again. This one was previously folded, so if you follow that fold, place it on top like this, you get the final hidden message. It's a good puzzle, like they can pass it around and each person can work a little bit on it. This is another one I found on Thingiverse that I thought was pretty cool. So it's this little maze, and you have to get this piece out. But the trouble is, it's very difficult because you have to solve the maze twice in one go, basically. And then on the back, I also put a little message. You'll see there's this code on these wheels. So this is a popular code. You can find it online. I'll link it in the description. But this is one of the ciphers you need to solve it. And then on a bunch of other little handouts, I put the other bits of the code. So they will have to work together to find these pieces of parchment so that they can solve this. And then once they get this piece out, there's another little hidden message on the bottom of it as well. This one is pretty tough, so let me see if I can solve it. And there you have it on the back. Some writing that will lead them to something else.
What letters are left? Because
that would leave behind an A.
It's also worth mentioning that not all players enjoy puzzles. Some players can get easily frustrated, or maybe they just want to whack things. Never underestimate the power of a session zero. Also, make sure that your players know you can give them hints. As GMs, we don't have many opportunities to playtest these puzzles, so be ready to give out as many hints as they need, though I've found they will resist as much as possible, depending on your group, of course.
That's going to be this one. We know that one is like this. E right there. Or,
wait.
no, it'd be E here.
right there.
Fruit boy! We're solving this!